have two teams. This is a pop trivia quiz show. We've already done 3 shows with these wonderful contestants. This is our 4th and final show. This is where the prizes will be given at the end of this one. Yeah. As it stands, we've got the Vids in the lead by a whopping 19 points. And we have Keith, we've got Nigel, and we've got Steph. Hi, guys.
Hi.
How's it hanging? Everything cool?
Yeah, not bad.
Good. Do you want to tell me about your mascot?
Oh, the bomb pipe, yeah. I use this, I walk around with this to pick up hippie chicks. I say to them, do you want to come back to my place and get ripped? And then I lace it with muscle relaxant, and they turn into rag dolls. And I put this
camera shake.
I put this Heath Robinson type device on their arses, which sprays it at their arses, and then I oil my forearm.
Nice,
oh Lord, I think I've just transgressed all notions of taste and decency.
Yeah, right, moving
What are you gonna do?
rather quickly over to the women.
So, next week is National Science Week, right? Scientists are saying in the future what we're going to have is cloned oven-shaped cattle that fit perfectly into your oven, square cattle, thump in your oven like that. Also, we're talking about breeding houseboat-sized chickens with tiny, tiny marble-sized heads. Do you think science is, like, out of control, then? Could it be?
It could be, aye.
These scientists are laughing at us, aren't they?
What?
They got their white coats on and they're laughing at us. And years ago, people believed in religion, didn't they? That was the strong belief. Now, no one believes in religion. Everyone believes in science. It's like the new religion, isn't it? Imagine a white dove, right? One wing's religion, the other wing's science. Now, there's the religion wing, right? It's flapping lamely because no one believes in religion anymore, so no one bothers with it. The other wing is the science wing. It's flapping wildly. Whoa! There's the science wing. Whoa! Like Sting on a bad night, right? The other wing is the religion wing, right? That's withered. That's withered away. That's like calcified, dried. It's like, remember Dracula before he had the blood? It's just like dust. So this poor bird, right? It can't fly. It can't even get off the ground. It's just stuck in the gutter like that. It's like this. The dove, this white dove, epitomizes the future of humanity. Imagine a perfect world with a marriage and melding of science and religion. So you got the empiricism, the rigid empiricism of science, right? And also the blind faith of religion. And the wings of the bird would flap. The bird then would soar, wouldn't it? Soar! Soar! Up on the thermals, high above us all, looking down on us with a big beneficent smile on its beak. And all his teeth will be out like that. Hiya.
Right, excellent.
Isn't that something to dream for, boys?
You don't have a dog.
Isn't evolution amazing? A constantly changing constant, adapting, evolving, incrementally active, yet proactive, symbiotically influencing everything! Ah, yes! But what possible evolutionary function can pubic lice perform other than to give you an itch in your ball bag that would have the Pope himself speaking in tongues? Their sole evolutionary purpose, as soon as they pop out of the pupae, is to get deep into pube country! Where they live, breed and feed, languish in their genital crevices like a bunch of American tourists on the banks of Lake Titicaca. But we shouldn't only embrace nature's beautiful creatures, we should make time out to be at one with all things in this world. I've taken it upon myself to befriend my pubic lice. This one's called Timothy, and he likes tinned peaches. But will A Clockwork Orange be as provocative and relevant to today's young film-lit sophisti-sluts as it was on its original release in 1971? Somehow, I doubt it, because they were largely unmoved by The Exorcist, and I think they will be the same about Clockwork Orange. Do I care? No, because it's a great, overly long, over-ambitious, overstretched film that tries to point at the schism between libertarian values and those that would use those values to terrorise others. But for me, the best part was when Alex's droogs metamorphose into the police. So, the thugs become the lawgivers, which has become true, hasn't it? Because most police officers these days are racist, intolerant, bigoted scum. Stand and deliver! Some films just manage to hold together, don't they? And Plunkett and McLean is one of those films. The slight conceit of the storyline just manages to hold. Although I do like Robert Carlyle's acting style, when he fixes people with that unreadable mercurial gaze, and you can't tell what he's thinking. You can't read his face. Is he going to burst into song, burst into tears, give you a blowjob, butt you, or butt fuck you? You can't tell. I liken his acting style to that of a BSE-ridden bull stumbling around a shit-strewn paddock, foaming at the mouth, mad of eye. You can't tell what it's thinking or what it's going to do next, which pretty much sums up Robert's acting style. Crazy! Is there anyone there? Whoa! There's an old Chinese proverb that says, a dream not understood is like a letter unopened. And funny enough, I had a weird dream last night. Sting turned up at my flat We were drinking and smoking the night away. Then we decided to play the CD Felch game, which involves sticking a CD in the cleft of your arse and your opponent wresting that CD from you using one of the contractual clenching powers of his nether regions. Now, last time I played Sting, I beat him, and this time he was bent on revenge. He had the CD poison in his arse. Quick as a flash, I whipped round and wrested it from him. I ran to a neutral corner of the room and bent down in a defensive crouching position. And let me tell you, there's nothing worse to see than Sting bearing down on you, flexing, unflexing his undulating glutamus maximus, all the while singing one of those pathetic wee-oh, wee-oh, wee-oh type songs. Beatty, rapping about the trappings of race segregation, oil barons, backroom machinations. He takes a toke and he inhales. My name is Nige and I'm from Wales. No one pops a cap in his mother... And that is about as much rapping as any anally retentive white boy should ever attempt. Now, I'm not down with all this bitches is gonna fuck your shit up black banter, but the voice of disenfranchised black America has become the officially sanctioned and recognised voice of young rebellion the world over, particularly for young white middle-class MTV-educated skateboard slackers who wank to the rock rap crossover while suckling down the rancid breast milk of a criminalised ideal they can only experience vicariously via a Hype Williams video. Oh, poor little things. Hey, don't call me Nigel. My name is Terrible Agony. Have you got a beef with that? There's a plethora of examples of techniques and ways you can further stimulate your partner on these videos, one of them being the three-finger technique, which I'll ably demonstrate for you here now using this lovely, lovely melon. Stop it. If that's the anal cavity, that must be the vaginal opening. That must be the clitoris. You stimulate thus using torsion, that is, pressing your palm against all the areas at once. As you can see, I've got a peerless technique, and you can graduate onto tricks like this. Flip them back and forth. Come on, baby, what's my name? They also suggest using a wee tad of toothpaste on the bell end for that extra ring of confidence for the second coming. Hey! In this day and age of total, absolute information overload, we simply don't have the time to watch, read, listen and absorb everything that's out there in the public domain, do we? So, we have to rely on information brokers to impart all the salient points to us. We don't even really know what's good or bad anymore, but simply how many stars you got in whatever issue of whatever Culture Vulture magazine you choose to read. Life itself is now experienced vicariously, third, fourth and fifth hand, as we're told what's hot and what's not by some Miles, Giles, Matt, Sam or Jack with their Heisenbergian hubris. Why did Tom Cruise cross the road? Because his arse was pissing blood. Walk like an Egyptian. Yes. You know when people say, this is great stuff for a wet, windy Sunday afternoon, what they really mean is, this is piss, and I'll compromise my artistic and creative integrity and watch it. Ah, that's what the mummy or mammy is. You want go? You want go? I'll give you fucking go! No! Ask what? Jesus Christ! I'm smearing it in my chin, in my face, in my neck, and rubbing it in my hair, in my mouth, and everywhere. And I look like that. Right? There's a bit of sweet corn in it. No, I never even eat sweet corn.
You're allergic to it.
It's competition time! We've got a sour-smelling, yellow, yeasty stain of romantic films to give away. The collective down being a bromp of romantic films to give away to the lucky lactating, flop-haired, bra-brained bastardo who can ascertain the answer to this one simplistic question, the words of which Steph will impart to you using only the helium balloon to aid his speeching tons.
Name the love-struck, sappy couple who star in a 1970s puke-inducing love story.
We'll travel down to London, break into Buckingham Palace, climb the wall and break into the Queen's bedroom, sniff around like that, and then we'll have a telltale smell. Look under the bed, and there's her potty, or bidet. And we look at it, and it's recently been shat in. And there's, in its full glory, the Queen's tunky. And I must say, it wasn't very good. In fact, it's a meagre offering. Although, around the sides of it, there's a sort of translucent gloop, which I sort of worked with for about half an hour, and I weaved it into the answer. On these mean, dirty, dank streets, everyone wants to make the modern Chinatown, complete with sinister voiceover and fatalistic femmes doomed to death as investigators suffer inner torments of demons and the hot rain splashes down on the hotter asphalt. But a plethora of peripheral characters do not a thriller make. better off renting Polanski's original and give this a wide, wide berth as the centre, sides, middle and end don't hold and Michael Rooker looks like a baggage handler or a used dog salesman. Colobos, bolakos, more like. Glasgow, city of architecture and design, 1999. A city brimming with civic pride and industrial prowess. But it's a city constipatedly congested, backed up, tip the tail, bumper-to-bumper with traffic. And here's a man who couldn't take it anymore, who said, no, that's enough. There has to be more to life than being stuck in traffic. That seems to be the problem with modern life. People just don't seem to take the time out to smell flowers or amuse themselves in idle contemplation. They're too busy phone conferencing with somebody stuck 2 cars behind them in a traffic jam. Oh, what in the good name of Garibaldi biscuit could this be about?
Nigel, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to cross Glasgow at its busiest time, but not using fossil fuels, but green methods of transportation.
About time too, seeing as I'm really rather fed up of walking and my alarmist body language. So we've got a plethora of green machines for your delectation. Let's find out whether 2 or perhaps even 3 wheels are better than 4. First up, we have the Brompton foldaway bike. Now, in theory, I should be able to mantle this in 10 seconds flat. First, you engage the seating mechanism to its fullest extent, because I'm a big boy. Then, with a nifty flick of the wrist, you open her out like so. Well, perhaps not quite so. Ooh, that's neat. Okay. So, well, the Brompton's got a nice smooth action, especially downhill, and I find it really quite nice. And the added advantage of being able to fold it together and store it away in the office or in the suitcase is brilliant. Great for inner city cyclists everywhere. This is a strange creature indeed. Is it a bike? Is it a motorbike? Is it a strimmer? Well, in fact, it's all 3. It's a conventional bike with an electronic power pack built in. Quite expensive, but it gives you the extra oomph you need when you want to take care of business. And here it is, the next generation of bikes, the recumbent. Called the recumbent because you lie in a reclining position whilst you cycle. So unlike conventional bikes, which use your arms and shoulders to hoist yourself up hills, the recumbent uses your legs and back. So it's good for you, it's good fun, and it's ergonomically correct. Although I must admit I probably look rather vulnerable to you out there. Whoops, hey, I am in fact in complete control. I can tell from the admiring and glances I'm getting from the public that this really is a beautiful vehicle. Ah, this takes me back. Brighton, 1960, mods versus rockers. I wasn't even born in the 60s, of course, I'm such a young thing. But nonetheless, it's got that sort of retro-esque feel to it. It does look like a genuinely old scooter. It does a good even 30, 35 miles an hour, no problem. This is the City Bug, which has to be one of the strangest vehicles of all. It's like a skateboard with an outboard motor and a plank up the middle for you to steer with. But actually, it's really quite good fun, and it's got these tiny little pedals on the front. But I think they are actually contractually obliged to put those on so they can go out and about on the street. Again, certain macho bore-type guys might feel a bit embarrassed cycling around in one of these, but not me, because I'm so self-actualized and in touch with my feelings. Stuck to my... Nice big boy. We've seen the recumbent, but what about this? A 3-wheeler recumbent with a steering done in the back wheels and servo-assisted fulcrum tilt mechanism to enable you to corner those bends. As a young boy, you might have got your dad to make you a gamboat, we used to call them in Wales, which is basically planks of wood stuck to pram wheels. And this is very much on the same principle, except it was probably made by someone like Stephen Hawking, as it's aerodynamically advanced. So now you have experienced vicariously the awesome power of the electric vehicle. Which one would you pick if you're in a tight spot and you want to get out of it fast? Would it be the Brompton foldaway bicycle? A little bit too senior citizen, I think. Or what about the electric add-ons to the conventional bike? No, actually a little bit too heavy for the up and down the stairs. Or what about the frankly terrifying recumbent with its back wheel steering? It takes a long while to get used to, but once you did, that would be the business. Or what about the retro-esque Suncom? No, I'd rather set trends than be part of them. What about this, the high central gravity recumbent? No, a little bit too terrifying. fact, for me, it has to be this, the city bug. Small and perfectly well proportioned, and it actually matches the colour of my suit. And would you believe, I've just remembered it's my parents' wedding anniversary way back down in Wales, so if I leave now, I might be able to get there on time. November the 24th, 2006. Come on, come on, come on!
See me?
Where?
Tomorrow. Now hurry up and get down to that boat. The boat. I gotta get that boat.
War to the libertine who preys upon the virtues of the weak. My arse! Lorna is supposed to be a dramatic parable about the wages of sin, with Lorna herself getting increasingly frustrated at her lack of hard cock action from her prematurely ejaculating thick boyfriend. Before you can say zero tolerance, she's attacked and brutally raped by an ex-con. And in a twist that would make Sid the sexist blanch and blush, she turns all simpering servitude, cooking him steak and beans and buying him bottles of whiskey. Not the kind of message you can imagine preaching to young people today, but hey, I've got my irony glasses on, what do I care? That's right, Steph. Get stuck in. Give my crust a good seeing to. And when you finish there, you can nip on the front and give my foreskin a good seeing to as well. I don't want to end up like my friend Ashley with a big hard cheesy rind right underneath my bell end now, do I? Go on, get stuck in. Clam, whatever you want to call it, pudenda. And here it is, giant-sized scale. And I'd like to demonstrate for you my preternatural tickling skills. Firstly, starting with the labia majora. Always working up, always working up. There you go. Then you move into the labia minora. Criticism, eh? Oh, no, 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 no. It's not the critic that counts, but rather the artist who struggles and strives to get his or her vision out there in the public domain against all odds, against constraints both financial, creative and intellectual, who mans the pumps, who rallies the troops, who mucks in to create something. But what do the pundits do other than to slag them off for their efforts? Critics who write, produce and create nothing but merely bitch and deride others for having the audacity to try and tell a story and create something that might live on in the public domain. It's gone too far! It's time to redress the balance in favour of the artist, creator, producer, achiever and their need to express their individual vision against all odds, particularly against moribund, impotent criticism, which is dead. But wait, these artists don't live in a vacuum, do they? And if they've got the arrogance to believe they can educate, communicate, provoke and inform, well, they should be able to take some shit. Because if I've got to sit through another 90 minutes of gack, well, I'll jolly well eat my own arse clean off its hinges.
This week we've got
Friends, we used to have an intensely competitive relationship way back when in the workplace. Yes, I'll hold, but get your go! Male rivalry and machismo in the none more macho workplace of air traffic control guys. But when new guy Billy Ray Cypress, Joe Bob Briggs, Billy Bob Thornton turns up, he drives all the other guys wild with jealousy because he's got this sort of half-Indian, mercurial, cool and insouciant charm thing going for him. He's all sort of self-actualised and centred. So it ups the ante and makes guys want to trump each other in the competitive arenas of work, play and shagging each other's girlfriends. Hey, Jinko, how's it going, man? How's things? How's your girlfriend? Yeah, look, I'm sorry I shagged her. Your wife now? Hey, those were crazy times. Everyone shagged everybody those days. I even shagged my own girlfriend. Jinko, Jinko, Jinko. First of all, when they are rent asunder, say things like, oh, I didn't know how comfortable it'd be to lie on one's back. Cool comedy mixed with mad action in a mad mulch of a film with the usual subtle subtext about honour and loyalty. But, the film rolls along, as do the heads, which are decapitated in full crimson spurty glory. Bride of Whitehair 2 picks up where Bride of Whitehair 1 left off. I don't flush and I don't wipe. That's for Christians, that is. It's competition time! We've got a lovely pile of South Park box set videos to give away, the collective noun being an urco of South Park videos to give away to lucky pre-pension parabolic embolism who can infarct the answer to this one simplistic question, the words of which Steph will impart to you using only the majestic ocular power of his hypnotic vision.
What is the name of Bart Simpson's dog?
We'll attend a concert by Australian piano genius and subject of film shine, David Helfgott. But due to a booking agent's error, chunky, trunk-wearing buffoon David Hasselhoff bounded on stage instead. He did one of those awful heavy metal power ballads that go down so well in Germany and Asia before throwing a red flotation device into the orchestra pit, diving headlong after it to perform emergency heart massage on a shocked and visibly upset second clarinetist who obviously and evidently wet herself. The micturation, because of the hot environment, floated up into the air and was the answer. So, send your answers by fax on 0141 353 6660. Or why not email us at vidsforlater@aol.com. I know, Steph, we do have some bloody fun on this show, but the best bits are invariably cut out. Let's look at some of our hilarious bloopers.
Now, The Unforgiven stars Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood!
What?
I said Clint Eastwood.
What? What?
Next up, it's fucking what is it? What is it? Yeah. Although Ben Gazzara was great in Tales of Ordinary Man. Charade for your soon-to-be intended is, in fact, a bloke.
Oh, shit.
Well, that'll learn to you, big man. Come home with me and have a nice hot cup of hatred.
Hey, it's competition
time. We've got a superlative sepia-tinted lamp of Golden Great Classics, the collective now meaning a griddle of Golden Great Classics, to give away to the lucky low centre of gravity felt suit wearing recent incumbent who owes his meteoric rise and recent success to me and me alone. So, can you obviate the answer to this simple question, the words of which Steph will sing to you in his own inimitable style, whilst I accompany him on my organ?
Who had a hit single in the 80s with Marlena on the Wall?
So, we'll travel to the Outer Hebrides, where we lead a semi-monastic, hermetically sealed life and take a vow of silence for over 10 years, and also a vow that we won't wank off. Obviously, the second proved to be the most difficult. In the end, we had to resort to using super glue on our Jap's eyes to seal it up. After 10 years, we came back to civilization, and believe you me, our ball bags swelled up to the size of bin bags, but they weren't black, they were sort of grey-coloured. So we peeled the super glue off our Jap's eyes, and a mad spunk session shot our load everywhere. And amongst the miasma of mucky spunk, we found the right answer.
So send your answers by fax on 0141 353 666. Or why not email us at vidsforlater@aol.com.
I'm glad you got rid of that awful ladyboy, Steph. I know what we can do. Let's watch that secret camcorder footage I shot in the bog earlier. In ephemera that'll be out of date in 2 years' time. So how's about this for a Chomsky-esque theory? If Moses himself were to travel down from the Holy Mount today with the 10 Commandments carved in stone, the 6 o'clock news would only report on the first 3. You'd have to wait till Newsnight came out to find out what the other 7 were. Frenetically fast cut-and-paste soundbite culture is turning our minds into soft, moist, malleable mush. As the cuts get faster, the soundbites get smaller. But you love it! You low attention span filters!
This week we've got Oriental Mayhem.
Is out to buy from April the 24th. Check out the bit where he hones his one-armed swordsman technique from a half-burnt book. He really is a tasty low centre of gravity bastard, and try to keep up with the fast-cut whirling dervish camera action. It really has to be seen to be believed. It's almost like the visual equivalent of a Charlie Parker solo. Damn it!
No, what have I done? Nice, are you okay?
Ah, not bad, not bad. Anyway, it's competition time.
Hey.
We've got a wonderful state-of-the-art
Brand new Iowa DVD player.
to give away to the lucky loose-limbed lossing Dant who can ascertain the answer to this one simplistic question, the words of which Steph will... Just say it, Steph.
How many Rocky films have there been?
Oh, we'll travel to Atlanta, Georgia, and attend an unplugged gig by Elton John. And during a particularly tearful and emotive rendition of Goodbye England's Rose, Sir Elton soils his Issey Miyake pantaloons. The smell was truly repugnant. Luckily, there was a quick-witted sound engineer on hand to scoop up Elton's fecal matter, and he deposited it in a sound hole of a nearby acoustic guitar. We'll go out and about looking for that guitar, and when we find it, we'll rattle it, and it'll sound like a 2-pence piece, but it won't be. It'll be Elton's dried, desiccated shit inside, and that's the answer.
So why not fax us on 0141 353 6660?
Why, hi there. Welcome to this very special edition of Vids. Now, my name's Brett O'Neill McClumperty, and some of you might remember me from an advert I did some years ago. Dip your balls in the bollock water, the lavender-scented bollock water. But perhaps you don't get that one on your Queen's BBC. Now, you might have seen on your English news about the sad killing of Stefan Knives from Vids. And this is by way of a video obituary of those guys. If you like, a Vids obituary of the guys. But enough of my yakking, and let's be honest, who cares if those guys are dead? Because it's their work that lives on as a testament to their consummate professionalism and punctuality. So lie back, relax, and scratch yourself in a vulgar fashion if that's your bag, man, and enjoy this, their finest hour, which is, in fact, a half of an hour. Okay, roll the tape.
This week we've got some guerrilla filmmaking, Creatures of the Night, a one-armed swordsman, and Linda Lovelace shows us her party piece.
First up, Bowfinger. Written by and starring Stephen Martin. It's the usual romp through familiar territory. Martin plays the eponymous Bobby Bowfinger, who's got a script he reckons will slay Hollywood. If only he can get #1 black actor Kit Ramsey, played by Eddie Murphy, in the starring role. This he does by hook or by crook. And Murphy's character has got issues he needs to talk through with his shrink, like conspiracy theories and his need to flash his meat at unsuspecting cheerleaders, which skates pretty close to the truth, because in real life, Eddie Murphy likes nothing better than the company of ladyboys, which he furiously denies to the press. These Hollywood stars, they do have some bloody fun, don't they? They don't go far, but they do have some bloody fun.
Do you have any experience in motion pictures?
Oh, yeah, quite a bit.
Can you believe it? These days, people go to university to study so-called seminal 70s TV programs. And every winsome, well-fed posh boy and posh girl wants to be the new face of youth or the new voice of MTV. The cult of the Z-list presenter is well and truly upon us. But there's one thing that terrifies these young presenters more than anything else. They'll do anything to try and avoid it, desperately filling it with over-enunciating doggerel and rancid opinionizationalism. The thing they fear more than life itself is the terror and tyranny that is dead air. But I love it. I languish in it. I writhe in it. I spread it on biscuits and snaffle it down.
This week we've got disastrous drug deals back.
You want your spanking? Well, you just listen, right? The SAS were experts at operating behind enemy lines, and this experience proved invaluable in allowing us to cry havoc and let slip the pigs of war. See, I know my William Shakespeare. We're not all as thick as you think. Against the Iraqis in the desert. This experience, in turn, proved invaluable on the mean streets of Northern Ireland, where we have operated covertly since the 1960s, propagating murder, war, treachery, bloodshed, brutality, and insurrection in what's commonly become known as the Troubles, which, to me, sounds like a woman's period pains. Not a country. Can you have a country with period pain? Oi, what do you think you're doing? I'm in the SAS. I could kill you with a mere flick of my anus. Huh?
Here?
Masturbation, and a young lady pleasures herself for about 10 minutes. Then there's a bit about massage, which neatly segues into another section about oral sex. The narrator saying the 69 position is one of the most mutually beneficial positions for both partners. not. The pleasure one gives is directly proportionate to the pleasure one receives. It's very difficult to concentrate on the matter at hand when somebody else is chowing down on your nether regions. Better to bring your partner off first. Then you can lie back and relax as she snaffles down on your hardy perennial mandible root. Then the narrator says, better to warm your partner up and enter her slowly, as you don't want to tear her apart, which is something of a worrying phrase, I think. Hey, but in this era of truly interactive TV, why not interact with me? Do you want some oral sex? But all this fatuous stuff about variety being the spice of life during sexual congress, it's bollocks, isn't it? Someone like me was naturally proficient at making the beast with two backs. But there must be those poor souls out there that find it difficult maintaining and keeping an erection. They like glance like that, next thing you know, they just come in their pants. It's that easy for them, you see. So Steph and I do the occasional offering of advice to those poor sods out there in the netherworlds. And here's a letter here from Nimrod Soam, 74 Park Road, Cwm Park of the Rhondda. Wants to remain anonymous, you see. He says, I went for my usual fecal mass droppage at the toilet the other day, and would you believe it? My arsehole wouldn't close up afterwards. I was walking around crab-like with my bum like a big, loose Wellington boot top. Please give me some advice. Yours, Nimrod. Well, Nimrod, to be honest, where does Huang Zhang's tash go? 1 minute he's sporting it with impunity, the next thing, it's not there. So, I studied this to degree level at university and soon realised that you can't see his tash on the long shot because, in effect, he's sporting bum fluff. But the kicks are fast and furious and well-placed. But I have to say, it isn't like real fighting. If I think back to my early days when I would have ungainly drunken brawls in Treorchy Rugby Club car park and roll around in the glass and shit, the only way to beat the big, ugly rugby boy was to pull clubs of his hair out and bite him really hard on the fleshy part under the arm until he passed out.
The art of hiding.
Bastards! French have much more joie de vivre than us dour, uptight Brits. More zest, more passion, more pleasure. Indeed, they seem to have an innate philosophy towards taking time out to shoot the breeze, develop interpersonal relationships, drink coffee, and generally go deeper, much deeper, than what laughingly passes for social interaction in Britain. I think the French could teach us a thing or two about stinking armpits and lifting, louping, stinking, ronking, buzzing breath as they suckle down frogs' legs and suck on snail shells. It's nice to hear a non-xenophobic mentality once in a while, isn't it?